Welcome to Point Center here at the Six. I'm your host, David Spay. I'm here with Coach Casey and Coach Lauren. Today we're going to be talking about kavanah, intention, the conscious action that you put behind all of your behaviors. The rabbis talk about prayer as being empty without filling it with emotion. They say that we're to meditate an hour before we pray or engage in any ritual so that this ritual becomes full and brings vibrance to life. They say afterward we're supposed to meditate for another hour so that we can get as much out of that action as we possibly can. I'm here to talk to our coaches to find out if the same is true in our athletic lives as well. So Coach Casey, how much thought or intention as a coach do you put into planning out your practices? How long does it take to plan a practice?
It takes about 30 minutes to plan a team practice. The thoughts that go into it are, one, what are the weaknesses that we need to work on, preparing for the team and what the game plan is going to be to take on that team. Also player development, what kind of shots are our players going to take, and then also their positions and what their roles are, and developing them in their roles and putting them in the best situation to be successful.
Coach Lauren, swimming is a bit different from basketball. Is there a similar amount of kavanah, of intention put into your planning?
Absolutely. Swimming being an individual sport and then competed as a team, practices are developed around each swimmer. They're set into different training groups as far as distance, stroke, and sprint. However, each swimmer is going to have their own kind of recipe for success throughout the season and what they're working on. And then on top of that, when you're preparing for a swim meet, it takes a good amount of time to put all the right swimmers in the correct races and make sure we have the best team to compete with.
So as coaches, there's a lot of kavanah, a lot of intention that goes into doing what you do every day. How about for the athletes? Do they benefit by filling their drills and their practices with kavanah, with intention themselves?
I believe so. I think you want to go game speed, so you want to practice at the speed that you're going to play in the game. I think as you're learning something new, you want to have the intention of taking your time and learning it the correct way, learning the footwork and technique properly, and then as you kind of hone in on those skills and improve at them, then you get faster and faster into a game speed.
And I'd say absolutely. I usually will say, understand your why, know your why. Why are you doing this? It takes a lot for a swimmer who's swimming 2 days to wake themselves up before the sun is up and put on a suit and stand on the pool edge when they know they're going to hit the water and it's going to be cold and everything's going to hurt, and they have to know why they're in it and why they're training. And different from most sports, it's all about them and it's all what's going on in their head and how they're feeling. And some days that's great and some days it's not, and they feel like they're not moving in the water. So it's really important to understand and have the intention behind everything they're doing. It becomes their motivator, how they're feeling, what in swimming specifically, every little thing that you do differently can affect a win or a loss, from the way that you touch the water to how it feels that day.
So it sounds to me like practice is not just about developing muscle memory, but it's also developing intellectual and emotional memory so that your mind and body are working together toward a consistent goal.
Very much so. Especially for a racer, you know what a pace feels like, and if you're not there, oftentimes you know before you even look at the clock that you didn't have the race you wished to.
I think that we want to focus in on taking the shots that we're typically going to shoot in the game. I think it's important, I always say to players, we don't want to run really hard or jump really high in the wrong direction. So if the ball is coming off the glass and you're not in the right place to grab the rebound, or if you're not in the proper position to get that steal taking away the middle, it doesn't matter how fast you're running if you're not going in the correct direction.
So it sounds to me like you both advocate not working more, but working smarter. That you don't get as much out of the work you put in and the physical activity if you're not also putting in the mental and emotional discipline and exercise.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it sounds like it's the same in prayer and ritual as it is in sports and athletics. Do you think that this is a true fact of life, that this extends to all aspects of life?
Yeah, I do think I need a second to think about that. So hold that lady.